Alright, random strangers, we are on to another queen of Hollow ID, Ayunda Risu. Specifically, we're going to be checking out Alison Yu. And I have heard a lot about Risu and her reputation for being quite the diva powerhouse, even amongst all the powerhouses already in Hololive. I have heard her rendition of Stella Stella, of course, and I totally get the hype. So I'm not going into this totally blind to her, well, the strength of her vocals, but it is the first time I will have heard one of her originals. And I will try to listen through the first time with minimal pauses. Good luck with that. And then we'll just do a fuller analysis afterwards. So let's just let the music speak for itself, and here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Are my eyes deceiving me? Your soul start to fade. Unleash your magic to me. Now it's time not to worry, to believe in me.
Okay, it's Fairy Tale Waltz, 3/4 time. Good start. I am feeling that descending piano scale. Whoa! What a weird interval jump with that left-hand piano. Dramatic key change! There's a real major switch up to the major key there. I love her phrasing in a vocal line. Great soaring note. Quick thought, I love this song so much already. And they just made it better with strings. Thank you very much. Okay, there's some interesting piano analysis here for this part that makes it sound very nostalgic and very fairy tale-like. Oh my god! Oh, it's a different language. Holy crap, she is killing those sustained notes. Oh, it's just I love those rolling drums. No! Whoa! My mind just got blown. Yep, I love that cello. I would have liked violin, but I'll take cello. Hey, retardando. Key change? No? Oh, yep. Nice. Nice lead into that tense part. God, I love how she just soars on those notes. And those backing vocals too really add to the nostalgic feel of the song. We gotta talk about her phrasing of these notes. What was that? She went to like weird vocal spaceland. Is that squirrel voice of hers? I think like that, like, I don't know what sound effect that is. That like something whacking on a metal surface. Okay, very simple ending there, but God, I totally forgot where I was for that whole entire song. Man, that was crazy. I'm sorry, guys. I feel like I didn't say anything of analytical import during that whole 4.5 minutes. That song, initial thoughts, that song is a proper song, and I'll go into what I mean by that. And a monster performance by Risu. She did that thing where she switches character in her voice. So she went from a really open vibrato diva voice to the sharp squirrel voice, and I like both of them. She uses it to such good effect. There's a lot of interesting things in the instrumentation that we could talk about, especially the piano. But I want to go back first of all to that push up from the I think it was in the pre-chorus. Hang on, just let me find it. Now let's start from this insanity. I mean, I was already getting tingles from these really explosive, perfect fifth jumps. Like, da, da. But then she took us to an even more insane place with this next arpeggio that she sings. Da, 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 da. And then she pushes up to that high A. Holy crap. So that is like da 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 da, and then da up to the F, and then da up to the high A. So from the bottom of that arpeggio, da 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 da, that is a major ninth interval that she pushed up in that phrase. And I don't know if you noticed, but when she got to the second note in that sequence, right about, oh no, before that, before I lost my mind. I was already losing my shit there. Why? Because I was like, where could you possibly take us from the da 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 da? Because there was an extra beat to go, and I was like, holy crap, she's either got to push up, like she has to either shoot us straight through the stratosphere, which would be nuts, or it would just fizzle out somewhere. And she shot through the stratosphere, not using any falsetto, but just straight up using her head voice, smashing that high A. So to me, I don't know, this girl is either trained or incredibly talented, and it doesn't even feel like she's breaking a sweat doing that. Here comes the music theory rant. So I wanted to start by breaking down why Alison Yu felt like it was telling a story, a very nostalgic, fairy tale-like, Disney-worthy kind of song story, which is a type of song that I really enjoy. So first off, the song is written in 3/4 waltz. I love waltzes. A waltz is essentially like an old school dance number. So if you imagine a grand romantic era ballroom with massive chandeliers hanging down and people in lots of spiffy outfits just whirling around the room. Waltzes are usually set to simple triple time or 3/4 time. So it has that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 swing to it that makes it such a good song for dancers, and that sets it apart from, you know, the sea of common or 4/4 time songs. So let's just count the 1, 2, 3, the 3/4 time from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. His body kind of just sways along to it so naturally. A lot of songs in 3/4 time, they're so good for evoking memories. It has this like pendulum like movement, and pendulums are literally used for timekeeping. Also, like the back and forth of pendulums is associated often with returning to the past, reminiscing, and reflecting on how the past has impacted your present. So even when you like move to 3/4 time, it just 1, 2, 3. Yeah, your body just naturally sways like a pendulum. What's cool about Alison Yu is the way that it layers different musical elements to build or emphasize that pendulum-like momentum. So first up is on top of the 3/4 time, you have the percussion. And in the first line or the phrase of verse 1, just as an example, you'll hear the tambourine part being played on the offbeats, which is what I have here on paper. So the offbeats are the weaker beats, or in the case of 3/4 time, it would be the 2 or the 2 and the 3. So if we just isolated the tambourine part and played it, this is what it would sound like. 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. So it never falls on the strong beat, which is the 1. And then I'll just play it on the track as well so you can hear it. 2, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. 2, 3. That syncopation in itself adds to the swinging feel, but also notice that in this 8-bar phrase, so first half, bars 1 to 4, second half, bars 5 to 8, the two halves are not symmetrical. If it were, you'd expect that the 6th bar here would have the tambourine play also on the 2 and the 3, just like in its mirrored bar. That asymmetry, because first it's in this structure and then it's in this other structure, it doesn't quite stay the same, which adds to the storytelling, constantly moving quality of the song. There's also a sound effect that sounds like the chime of a clock or a metronome going that comes in on the first beat of every 4th bar, sort of to like mark the midway of the phrase and also at the end of the phrase. Yeah, so I guess that adds some semblance of stability to all the other moving parts which are going for that momentum effect. One of those parts that's creating and sustaining momentum is the piano. So let's just play from the beginning. So notice the bass lands on the regular beat, but then there are some other notes that are either syncopated or have quite a bit of movement. So if we play this piano accompaniment in super slow motion, it sits on that first chord, but then these notes move immediately before sitting again. Movement, sitting, movement, sit. And then, there's a really nice chord as well. Yeah, so when the regular beat, the strong beat lands on that chord, but then the other notes are either syncopated or have quite a bit of movement, it creates this ping-ponging off the 3/4 time, which creates its own momentum. So put all of that together, the 3/4 time, the syncopated percussion, and then the movement in the piano notes, it all works together nicely to create a sense of back and forth, which to me evokes a sense of nostalgia, because nostalgia is all about yearning for the past or bringing the past back into the present and sort of going back and forth between the two. Nostalgia is also very sentimental, and Alison Yu taps into that sentimentality by harnessing the sentimental power of the melodic minor scale. So let's have a listen to this pre-chorus part, which is what really sealed the deal for me in terms of pinning this as a Disney song. So note the descending minor scale. what is the melodic minor scale? It is kind of like a weird cousin of the natural minor scale. So this is the natural minor scale that of D minor, which is the key that Alison Yu is in. And it sounds like this. Now, in classical music, the melodic minor scale switches that up a bit. So when ascending, the melodic minor scale raises the 6th and 7th degrees by a semitone. So going up, when descending, however, the 6th and 7th degrees are lowered so that it reverts back to the same as the natural minor. So and so in Alison Yu, they used that D melodic minor to inject tension into this, I guess it's kind of like an extended pre-chorus, so that when we do hit the chorus, the build-up is very dramatic. So where does this tension come from? It comes from the shifting structure of the melodic minor. And I feel like shifting has become such a key word in this rant. When you descend the melodic minor, especially when you do it like this, with each tone of the scale taking up an entire bar, the scale sounds a lot heavier with the natural degrees. Here, when the song ascends the melodic minor scale by pushing off that C sharp, it actually lightens up melodically with the raised tones. That release of tension also happens a lot more quickly. All right, let's do the whole thing together. So, taking your time to descend, to build tension, release tension quickly, and then keep going down the scale to build even more tension. So this melodic minor pre-chorus fits what we've been harping on the entire time. It's like this build tension, release, build tension, release. It's like that push and pull, the back and forth movement of the pendulum. The use of the melodic minor to create color and tension is kind of a very common device in Disney songs in particular. Chim Chim Chitty from Mary Poppins is one. Also Anastasia. Yes, I know that Anastasia didn't start out as a Disney movie, but it is now. Actually, Alison Yu reminded me a lot of Once Upon a December, which is the song that plays when Anastasia is yearning for her lost family and imagines them all dancing the waltz. So a lot of similarities. Use of the waltz 3/4 time, use of the melodic minor, in similar if slightly different ways. But ultimately the lesson is, if you want to create yearning, nostalgia, and tension, use the melodic minor. We'll play this pre-chorus just one last time and then move on to focus on how it led into the chorus, because there was some weird, interesting stuff happening there. So it's descending the minor scale. Just a little tiny note there that harks back to what we were talking about before. Really simple but effective way that this pre-chorus added tension to make sure that it's set up really well for the chorus is having the first half of the pre-chorus start from this D and then run all the way down to this D. And then the second half actually starts from this D and is heading towards but never quite reaches this D. So first half taking place in this higher octave, second half taking place in this lower octave. Simple but effective. Oh my god. That made my ears perk up, because on the way to this lower D, which would have been a very satisfying resolution to that slowly descending, tension-filled melodic minor scale, what it does is, right before the chorus, it lands on the supertonic, so very unstable, and then adds to that instability by just randomly jumping up to that major seventh a major seventh interval. It's not a note that's in the melodic minor, obviously, so you know that we're going places. It's just like a whoa, whoa, what's gonna happen now?
Not even near. Oh, let me let out a word.
So what happens is a key change there happens. Well, it's a key modulation. Yeah, I mean, okay, it doesn't matter. There are slight differences between when you use key modulation, which is like a prepared sort of known modulation, as opposed to a key change, which is just a sudden shift in direction. Oddly enough, what happens here in these few bars is both. So the change happens here. A diminished chord that leads to the C major. Now the C major is actually the dominant note of the F major. So the fifth note of the F major scale. And why is the F major important and is actually a relative key to the D minor? Well, it is the relative major of the D minor, which just means that those two keys share the same key signature and therefore lots of shared chords. And so you kind of expect a shift or a modulation to the relative major from the D minor. It's one of the most natural shifts in the world. But what happens is after this what you expect to happen is Risu to start singing in this new F major, the relative major. But she doesn't. She goes to it's actually the F sharp major. So I was looking for the culprit. I was like, how did this happen? And then I realized that there is actually an instrumental track for Alice and You, and it's far easier to hear there what they did. That's it. That was a culprit. So after this, shift, they just threw in like a random C sharp major triad there, and then off they go. It was like, I'm still reeling from this sudden interjection of a random key. It was almost as if they were like, you know what? Screw regular modulation, screw related majors or pivot chords. We're just gonna completely turn a new page and go, okay, it's gonna be in, so the C sharp major is the dominant of the F sharp major, which is the key that Risu starts singing the chorus in. So normally, you know what was weird? Normally I enjoy looking for pivot chords and hearing how exactly they modulated or shifted keys. I less prefer just random key changes, but it really depends on context, because here I feel like it fit the rest of the song because of how well it's built this tension, how well they've clearly sectioned off the different segments of the song, and in fitting with the whole storytelling nostalgic theme, I felt like this sudden C sharp major triad was like a flipping of the page. It was like, this is a new story, a new day. We're just going to go with this completely new random key. And I actually quite liked it. So there you go. It's all about context in terms of whether a key change feels right or not. And then in the chorus, it doesn't stay still either. Like a lot of other parts in the instrumentation, the chorus shifts from major to minor to major to minor, specifically the new F sharp major to its relative minor, which is the D sharp minor. So it's just constantly shifting between these two. 1, 2, 3. Yep, okay. There was that telling D natural, so So that chord includes the D natural, which comes from the relative minor of the F sharp. So remember the raised 6th and 7th degrees of the melodic minor. That's what we're hearing there. Yeah, it's solidly in like E flat melodic minor land there. But then for the rest of the chorus, major, minor, da 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 ba da da, lands back in major, E flat minor there with the raised 7th. Yeah, just so much shifting and flipping, and really gives it a sense of bittersweetness. Bittersweetness is the word that I would use to characterize that chorus. It's like so much joy in the heart, but then tinges of sadness and seeds of pain, I guess, that's just thrown in there to make it a really beautiful chorus, I think. And I loved the sweeping motions of the piano there as well. I think it was really well composed. And then something interesting about verse 2.
In a time where there is no light I could see, you want me to be here. Knowing only
Yeah, it is solidly in the F major. Which, okay, so it goes back to the home key, sort of, because I swear the verse 1 of this song was in its relative minor, the D harmonic minor.
Are my eyes deceiving
Yeah.
me? Your soul start to fade and lose your magic to me.
Yep. So verse 1 is more grounded in the D minor, whereas verse 2 is grounded in the F major. Why is this cool? It's cool because it gives a sense of progression. We started in like a subdued minor key and then shifted back and forth in interesting ways throughout the pre-chorus. You know, had a bit of an explosive moment with the sudden key change to the F sharp major in the chorus. And now we're in this second verse in the F major, which is kind of a returning back to the home key, but not really, because it is the relative major of the key that we started in. So even though we are following a typical song structure, like a verse 1, pre-chorus, then to the chorus, and then another verse, another pre-chorus, the bridge, which is actually the climax, I think, but we'll get there, and then the final chorus, etc. It feels like, though we're following that structure, we are stepping up the development with every section, which is why I said before that this is a proper song. By using different keys in a smart way and building on the instrumentation, which I'll talk more about in a bit, it feels more like we're being sung a full story, you know, one that literally follows Freytag's pyramid, which is a real achievement for any song. So verse 2, this is where they have the strings. I love that part. One thing I will say about this verse, and in particular about the strings, it was so weird because even though the strings were incredibly synthesized, which again, normally I don't prefer, but I didn't mind them here because it was almost like I could feel like the lightness that the strings brought. As a strings player, I almost could imagine myself playing those notes with like lifted arms and just very light bowings, which was so weird because how could synthesized strings sound like that and match the composition so well? And I just put it down to, well, yeah, that's it. I put it down to the composing. Or maybe I'm just being totally brainwashed by this song. Yep, okay. So just a quick note about the piano part here. We already talked about the descending D melodic minor in the left hand, but what's happening in the right hand is also interesting. So it's a frantic, sort of broken arpeggios that follow the descending minor, but they're very repetitive. So it reminds me actually of the nature of time. You know, in time, we're constantly moving forward and we can't get back the time that we've lost to the past. But it also feels like because of the rhythm of daily life and the things that we have to do and get done, the routine of things, it's also very repetitive. Like, it feels like everything was calculated to make the listener feel the passage of time and the nature of time, in the sense that we're just constantly every day so busy doing this, doing that, getting this done, hand it in, even as time just slowly moves on and no one can stop it. God, that's really depressing. Okay, I know that I said I'd prefer violin here, but their choice of the cello to come in the second half of that pre-chorus was good, because remember how we talked about the first half of the pre-chorus being in this higher octave and then it moves down to this lower one? Of course, cello makes more sense if it comes in the second half of the pre-chorus. So hey, that's smart use of instrumentation, you know, choosing the right instruments to portray or to complement the tension that you are building. Okay, so leading into this bridge, which is the climax of the song, there is a good few reasons why there is so much tension in this part, which is perfect. Interestingly, at the end of this pre-chorus, the last pre-chorus actually went to the diminished before going to the C. Here it just goes from the 4, 3, down to the 2, which is so much tension because it really wants to go to the tonic, the F major. So it doesn't let you do that. Sits on the 2, and then when Risu comes in with the Risu's actually on the 7th. Again, another very unstable note because it's the leading note that wants to go to the F, but it also, that's the devil's tone. There is a devil's tone in there. So the left hand is on the 4 chord, which is the B flat, and Risu is singing the E, which is the leading note, and together that interval is the devil's tone, which is the most unstable interval in all of Western music. And not only that, she is like holding that unstable 7th with so much power. It's amazing. This is the vocals that blew my mind. She holds it and then gives another punch. That was probably one of my favorite Risu vocal moments, is when she holds that 7th with so much power and then gives another punch when she actually lands on the F, the resolving F. So good. And then I already ranted enough about that crazy broken arpeggio. Since we're focusing on Risu's vocals, just appreciate how she's able to vary her tone from section to section, which connects them but also differentiates them. and the way that she has direction and how she phrases her vocal lines so that she's not just singing a bunch of notes, but she is actually singing sentences that tell a story. And case in point is, of course, this bridge that we've been listening to. So she starts a phrase here, builds it, and then she just shoots straight for that target. So good. And then brings it down again. Yeah, there's such a nice shape to the way she phrases her lines. And then whenever she sang this pre-chorus, it was very light. I just want to bask in her vocals. I liked how she broke off that I believe. That was cool. Really light. And then she just injects it with that like explosive power. Hey. Okay, this part we have to listen to again and sort of also really appreciate. It's building in tension. It's flipping between the head and the chest voice there. It's like she just rides that wave. She connects all of her phrases. It's smooth, man. It's smooth as. She just keeps the phrase going, even when it's like flipping back and forth between these like different vocal ranges. So I really enjoyed that chorus, the way that she strung it all together. The only thing that I am a little bit disappointed by, and this isn't even Risu's fault because it's a production thing, her voice still sounds like it's quite compressed, overly compressed, almost as if we're hearing her sing through a very thin wall. And I noticed this was also an issue in her King cover, which is the other recorded track that I've listened to of hers. So I honestly think it's probably just a case of not having access to proper recording equipment or a recording studio, which is very expensive, and not having access to like production talent that can help with that. So I have no idea her financial situation. I just know that it's very expensive to get the right equipment to record tracks. So yeah, that is probably the only thing that I could say about this song. Look, it has everything that you'd want in a song. Choice of instrumentation, like the tambourine, the chimes, the strings, albeit very synthesized, but which oddly, as a string player, I didn't mind so much because the composition was great. All of that made up the very folksy sound of the song. The composition, it's a slightly unusual way that it uses the key to refresh a traditional song structure. Just every section was very varied and did its role to build tension into the overall arc of the song, which made the storytelling aspect of it strong, and also it built up so well in those 4.5 minutes all the way up to that climax, and then made the resolution that much more satisfying. And then finally, Risu's vocals were such an important element to her phrasing, her connecting of phrases, so that it led you to different places with each section. The emoting in her vocals, the way she could go from very light to just inflamed passion and pain. Yeah, Risu is amazing, and this song is done very well. Last but not least is checking out the actual MV and the lyrics too, which are equally as important. So here we go. Just straight off the bat, the hourglass. Kind of confirming that the song is about the passage of time. This music definitely matches up to the fact that she's singing about a journey that she's on. Wasn't that appropriate? I mean, incomplete melody. What was it? Let's go back. sung with a sweet but yet a sad symphony. So appropriate that it's actually written over the melodic minor, which is often used to create a very sweet but also a very sad kind of feeling. I wonder what the playing cards mean. She's reading a book, a storybook. Okay, that like music stave, yeah, the music stave that's been like crossed out and heaps of squiggles on it. So relatable. Music is not easy to write. I'm sure she had something to do with the creation of this song, given the difficulty of producing music. Even though on this channel we do engage in, you know, musical critique, you always just have to keep in mind, no matter what song you're listening to, whether you like it or whether you don't, whether you have things to say about it, just always keep in mind that a lot of effort and emotion gets put into producing tracks. Most tracks, some tracks are just like stupid, but for most tracks, people put a heap of effort into them, and you have to respect that at the very least. That chorus, the chorus just makes me kind of go, ah, Risu, because it sounds like she's expressing what she feels when she sends her music out into the big wide world. Like, it takes a lot out of her. She's being very ambitious, probably overcoming a bunch of barriers and difficulties in order to produce this music. And just hoping that people hear her music and appreciate it. So yes, let's just have a moment of silence to appreciate Risu's music. Okay, let's go.
In a time full of worries, no light I could see.
Yep, full of worries. That is the life of an artist. Wait. Those were messages from her fans? These ones. And she's actually crying from these messages too. You guys making Risu cry? Man, this just continues to prove to me that every single VTuber has at least one song that deals with the fraught nature of being a public figure or a public entertainer that relies on maintaining an active fan base. And I remember in Muna's Perisai G2, she's saying about the need to maintain a separate persona or a mask, and the pressure of entertaining people while being personable but not giving her entire person away. And then here Risu, I think, saying about the doubt in her mind that she even matters, or that people would even notice her, which no doubt even entertainers with a massive following struggle with. And it really makes me feel for her and anyone in her position. It's really interesting that the pre-choruses have different lyrics. This is a really intense part. And she actually switches to Japanese here. All the blaze of me. She is definitely singing this like she is just letting everything out, all of the feelings, all the passion, all the emotion, all of it out in one huge explosive bleh, you know, just no holds barred. The fact that she could sing, emote through her voice, seeing exactly what is written in the lyrics, which is that she just has all this fire inside of her that she wants to sing out. That is what makes Risu great. This line, shooting stars would only be a star if there are no wishes to make. I wonder what she means there. Like either she is the shooting star and like if she didn't have fans to make wishes on her or like follow her journey, she would just be like any other star. Like there's nothing special about her. Kind of harks back to how the whole point of VTubing is to have a captive audience, or like she's the one who's making wishes. Joy wish be upon anyone who found this lost song. Okay, so I mean she's wishing joy for everyone who hears this song, which is one, really sweet, and two, I guess that she's saying she has dreams and that she wants to come true, part of which is to share her feelings through her music, and in a way that brings joy to people. It's a very, either interpretation, it's like a very wholesome mission for a content creator or an artist. And yeah, I really appreciate that. Oh, wait, the lyrics in the pre-chorus developed the narrative. Like before it was an incomplete memory, an incomplete melody, but here the melody is complete. The melody is complete. So she's made this music, she's sent it out into the world, and it's impacting people already. I mean, clearly, I am making this video. Like, actually, you know how she was singing about how time will carry this song to you or to the world? Her wish has come true because there are people who are just now watching this, even though it's been a couple of years since she's released it. And there will be afterwards people who discover this song anew. So yeah, that is very cool and very meta. And that is in essence Risu's legacy. Like she has a legacy already.
All the words I could say right now, I cannot really.
It's kind of cool that the visuals are showing Risu on a journey, kind of like in a storybook. Like just everything matches up with the music. Just pause on that. That is a message from her to her fans in 3 different languages. Okay, that is really cool. It's so touching that this song is explicitly a song to her fans. Clearly they, or you guys as her fans, have been a huge part of why she was able to continue on this journey of pursuing her dreams. Yeah, it doesn't get any more wholesome than that. That's really cool. Oh man, she's just like giving her all. Oh, I didn't realize that she'd actually also sang in Indonesian. 3 languages. Okay, I'm glad those tears turned into happiness at the end. That's the resolution that you want after that huge, massive, like, passionate, you know, climax of the song. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that she'd sang 3 languages in the one song. One right after the other too. I love that, like, she's inclusive of all her fans, obviously, who speak many different languages, and she wants to reach out to everyone. That's a cool thing about Hololive ID, actually. A lot of the girls, they speak like more than one language, which is really cool. And I remember for Moona's 3 songs actually too, she had one in Japanese, one in English, and then one in Indonesian. So here we get all 3 languages in the same song, which is such a flex. Also, just one last note on that last line that Reese was saying. Okay, it does the squirrel voice, which is amazing. I know that some people, you know, you either love it or hate it, but I kind of enjoy it. Very entertaining. There's 2 voices here. It's both her diva voice and her squirrel voice. I love that she recorded in both and then layered them on top of each other in a unison to end the song. It's like kind of like sending a message that you're getting all of her in this song, like all versions of her. One final last thing. Well, no, it's the second last thing I'm going to say because I don't want to end on this note. I couldn't help, my music theory brain couldn't help but notice that the lyrics, they're kind of weird the way that they're set to the music because the accented syllables often fall on beats in the music that shouldn't be accented, which creates a kind of weird, jilted feeling on the lyrics side of things. And I didn't, you know what, wasn't even going to say this because I don't care personally. I love this song. I think that not only is it musically interesting, but it tells a story that is touching, which is more than what you can ask for any one song. But just in case there are those of you out there who are interested, a fun part of music theory is learning how to write rhythms that suit the lyrics of a song. It was so fun, actually, that in music exams where they give you a choice to either write a melody that fits a given rhythm or write a rhythm that fits certain lyrics, I 100% always chose to write the melody because I hate writing rhythms. It's really difficult, more difficult than you'd think, to write rhythms that fit and sort of flow naturally with lyrics. So, and let me just double check. He wrote yeah. So Rizzo wrote the lyrics herself, which is incredible. And this isn't a criticism in any way because I feel like if she wrote the lyrics, then it came from the heart and you want that. Like, you want the words that she wrote. But yeah, it's if any of you sort of noticed weirdness in the way that the lyrics fall on the music, it's because very simply, when we speak, when English, right, especially, and I'm only addressing the English lyrics. In English, there are certain syllables in words that we accent naturally. So let's take like the very first line, for example. Are my eyes deceiving me? So the accents are on the are my eyes deceiving. So ideally, the strong syllables, eyes and see, should fall on these strong beats in the music. And what determines like which are the strong beats in the music, it's the time signature. So we talked about how it's 3/4 time. So the eyes and the C should fall ideally on the first beat of the bar. So are my eyes deceiving? But then there's an extra syllable in there. So she actually sings.
Are my eyes deceiving me?
Yeah. So she sings Are My Eyes, which is good, deceiving. So the ving is actually gets the strong beat, which is why it sounds a little bit jilted. Yeah, it's, you know what? It's so hard already for native English speakers to write lyrics that I don't think we should expect at all for someone who's not native to be able to like get this. And honestly, again, like I said, it doesn't really matter. But say if in future, like if Risu gets to work with a massive production company or something and she gets access to like really good music producers and lyricists or whatever, like a good team around her, maybe they could like work with her on that and sort of be like, say for example, okay, that first line again, are my eyes deceiving me?
Are my eyes deceiving me?
Okay. Are my eyes deceiving me? You could go like, do my eyes deceive me? So, do my eyes deceive me fits the rule of having the strong syllable of a spoken English word fall on a strong beat in the music. There are like some other examples as well. Wish your magic to me. That's fine. Worry. Yep. Okay. So to believe in me, the strong beat really should fall on the do believe in me. So the l instead of the b. This is so petty. Like if you really wanted to pick, you could pick out a lot of the lyrics, but this is just something extra to be aware of. Like if you ever yourself are writing lyrics to a song, there are reasons for why a song feels and sounds like it flows naturally, more naturally to the lyrics than others. So that's why. I just looked up the lyrics in this format to Alison Yu and I just realized that all of these lines spell something. It's an acrostic poem. That is wild. So it says Ayunda Risu Hololive Indonesia. Yep. Okay, that makes a whole lot of sense why it was difficult to squeeze those lyrics in there. Like on top of it already being difficult, you also had to make an acrostic poem. So yeah. Look, okay, scratch everything I said about lyrics. Well, don't scratch everything because it is important when writing lyrics, but yeah, in this particular case, because there is a reason, like a hidden message to fans, I guess. Yeah, everything is forgiven. It's totally fine. Final thoughts. What a wholesome song that idealizes or shows how interactions between a VTuber and their fan base should be. You know, she wrote this song with her fans in mind who have supported her on this very tough journey, but also nothing takes away from Risu's own efforts and her way of putting her entire soul into her music and her VTubing work. Musically, the song stands out in many ways. Like it has a unique development that is non-repetitive and lives up to the feeling of a story unfolding as each section of the music unfolds. So yeah, thank you Risu, thank you Risu's fans for being so wholesome and supporting her, and thank you for listening. Hopefully you learned something through the analysis, and yeah, no, that's it. Until next time guys, take care.